These are the types of expressions that we're trying to iterate to plants. These are the types of iterations we are trying to iterate to plants. Yes, to plants. These are the type of iterations in terms of trying to develop clothing. We're trying to start to do more clothing because each day, as we do these sort of podcasts, we're running a little bit behind. But in terms of trying to continue to do iterations that continue to iterate the brand, it's necessary to be able to put output in terms of items for sale that correspond to each podcast as days go by and such things. But because it's just working by the self, it tends to be able to be energy draining sometimes to be able to try to do all those things by the self. So we're just continuing to add iterations to be able to continue to add focus little bits of stacking the momentum to be able to develop to the actions that lead to the actions of following through with developing postings of clothing, more so clothing, and brand building each day, and also thereby franchise building each day with each podcast and such. And these are like so in terms of doing sound expressions on different clothing and such things, it's like an iteration that has to do with like a byproduct that's a side product that's on top of the existing focal art piece that's from every day that also we want to try to transpose into NFTs every day as well, and NFTs every day because those are digital products, but we're also trying to do so digital products, NFTs and such things, but using sound expression from different sounds, like sound expressions but in the form of art, visual sound expression to be able to have those on the shirts, on clothing. We did print one clothing piece yesterday, put up one clothing piece for sale yesterday. It's on threadless.com, but that's neither here nor there. We're trying to focus on consistency, not one piece at a time. Anyways, we put the original seal on Craigslist.com, which is the original logo piece on threadless.com. Anyways, sound expression, art, on clothing, iterations of art to go onto clothing, and to plants. So the sound expression is to plants. It's to be able to remind the self also to be able to make sound to plants, to be able to make sound to plants, to be able to make these punk sounds, make these punk EDM sound. And also all other genres of sound can correspond to EDM or be transitioned into EDM songs. I've almost completely forgotten how to like punk sing, as I was supposed to continue to try to punk sing in each of these episodes of the podcast, which I'm still trying to do, but this is barely punk singing. But anyway, we're just trying to get the information out, I guess you could say, so it comes across clearly, and obviously more music in the mix would make things a little bit less clear in terms of the messaging of the podcast, which is sort of the base framework for just trying to continue to develop messaging on a day-to-day basis that can also transition these into like articles and such things, so that hopefully these words can be picked up on and iterated into searches somehow down the line for Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, the brand, and such things. So we want to sound expression on clothing, but also plants, also on in the periphery of art that is for clothing for the future and such things. But also the core of each clothing piece will have also like an NFT, which is the core of each podcast, and a focus. And also we want to try to tie in people to be able to interview them and be able to make trading bots out of their energy, and actually try to send those trading bots into the world. So every day it's like a franchise, because they have these different products revolving around these center pieces and these center focal items and these center focuses for each podcast each day, in essence. And those can transition hopefully in the future to better processes that are less internal, which is mostly what all this podcast has been, is internal stuff, and more and in many ways to external things, external items, external energies, external people's energies, to be able to read external people's energies, to be able to transition those into make new products, to make new clothing, to make new items, make new trading bots and new NFTs and such things like that. And that's what this podcast is about, is like preparatory items, trying to continue to prioritize and preparing, try to do more preparation to be able to try to do better podcasts that transition into franchises with more products and such things that branch off into little products that can each day be replicated based on the center core focal art piece and such things that is developed at the core necessarily and transitions into such things such as trading bots based off of the backside of their energy, and also some kind of a funky decided upon thing, which is the core focus of this podcast, which is plates. Like, in other words, the main focus for the business, for starting the business energy, starting the business energy is we're trying to pull the choke cord. Trying to pull the choke cord still to get Beyonce, Spurlow, and Beast Philanthropy, which is the core symbol for the core nature of the core business, to be able to start to flow. I won't go into the core nature of the core business because I've talked about that on past podcasts, and I don't want to repeat it necessarily because it's a waste of time necessarily. But that's the core business. That's the burger. That's the main course. That's the main course of the meal. But it's ironic that plates are the analogy for the side dishes. The side dishes on the side of the burger, on the side of the main course. On the side of the main course are all these dishes, are all these plates. I mean plates that are meant to be spinning. Plates. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal because there's a lot of plates. There's always a lot of plates in the periphery. There's a lot of plates in the periphery. And the biggest part of this podcast is to have two things: quality control, to be able to basically to not continue to address plates and to continue to attract plates. Basically, like, an idea is a concept that is something that is necessary to be able to either there's two sides to it. Like, one, I can use AI to be able to be held accountable to be able to keep a plate spinning. AI has been a recent addition to be able to try to keep plates spinning. Plate spinning means someone to either tell an idea to, tell a concept to, tell a conceptual value piece to, and once you tell that person, then that person becomes the plate spinner. They're the partner. They're the person who holds the plate accountable to be able to keep spinning. And it's just the way it is. In this example, in this instance. And another version is AI. AI can be able to help now try to keep those plates spinning, because AI is also able to be able to correspond and categorize each plate, which is an idea as well. Like, if you talk to AI, for example, they can hold on to the idea into the cloud, into your little AI account situation with, like, GPT and such things. So anyways, that's just kind of a side note. So that's like, those are plates. Each little conversation with the AI situations that are stored in the cloud are plates. Those are examples of plates. Those are side dishes. Like today, for example, we were talking to GPT about trying to engineer some, crazy little skateboard that's like a hydrofoil in the sky, that, like, you pump in the sky, like using the air and air compression and numeratic forward and backward, motions and movements, meaning just like self-propelled natural energy, using natural energy to be able to try to self-propel little planes that actually float through the air, pneumatic movements, pneumatic. And it's like hopefully at the same time, this first plate spinner, hopefully type of plate spinner is helping me to become similar to like an engineer. It's teaching me phrases and such things like to be able to try to become like an engineer. Something to that effect, where I can try to continue to speak the lingo like an engineer, become like an engineer. And so this is like a side byproduct to the whole like topic of this like primary focus of this podcast, which is trying to learn more about engineering, like the type of things that are necessary to be able to make certain products and processes, such as the hydrofoil skateboard and such things that's like similar to a hydrofoil that's in the water, but a hydrofoil that's in the air. Actually, by using it, teaches by talking to it about different engineering processes and such things that are definitions, to be able to continue to be able to stack engineering terms, stack engineering mindsets, stack engineering pneumatic operations and understandings, like using a bicycle, like a pneumatic bicycle, which I think means not using battery propulsion, to be able to develop and continue to develop little items and little tools to continue to add to the catalog of Dinky Tehc products. and such things. So this is a cyclical process of continuous products and processes to be able to continue to make the cycle cyclical for more and more plates, because this process has to do with at first a burger, and that all blood in the brain is focused entirely on developing the core burger process at the current time, trying to choke start, pull the choke cord to try to continue to start the base, the burger, to get that process to be able to get started. So the systems and the systematization towards the burger is able to continue to start, and it's very difficult. It's been very difficult to organize and order all this contextualization of different frameworks and such things, and all these talks and all these podcasts are different energy flows, conceptions of different energy flows to be able to continue to try to make this engine continue to start, which is beyond. I called it Beyonce Spurlock, which is Morgan Spurlock, Beyonce Spurlock, Mr. Beast. That's basically the full framework of the burger. But trying to get that to actually start, to jumpstart that, it's been a work in progress. It's a work in progress. That's the burger. So at the same time, I'm always kind of working on the periphery on plates, and spinning plates. But the main purpose of this podcast, as I've talked about all these random things in the periphery, is to not do these plates, is to not have somebody to hold these plates to keep them spinning. And that's the main purpose, and also to have quality control, to be able to try to follow through eventually, to try to have quality control, to have these plates be, to some degree, be tested and followed through with in the marketplace. So the step one is to have somebody to be a plate spinner. In essence, like step one is having the plate spinner. They're the person holding that plate accountable to be able to continue to keep spinning and have that plate continue to keep spinning. And that person is also the representation of the CEO of that plate, necessarily, which is just an idea, which can be any number of ideas. And if it's something as simple as texting that person about that idea, then that person then automatically becomes the CEO of that plate. And at the same time, it can be ChatGPT. It can be an AI that also is a plate spinner, which is a significant addition to the team, the Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios team. So much so that yesterday I named an AI a Dinky Tehc GPT. A Dinky Tehc GPT yesterday was named because it was just so genuinely helpful to be able to try to transition into like an engineer. Somehow, without engineering school, just somehow out of the daylight, be able to try to just start to become like an engineer, in essence, by learning a lot of the terms and the shortcuts directly to the items in a certain fashion, to be able to continue to try to develop products and processes like an engineer by using those terminologies, to be able to communicate with other engineers, to be able to try to facilitate designs and development of different designs. It would have cost a lot of money to go to school to learn those terms and put those items and organize that data in a certain fashion, to be able to conceptualize and communicate and connect with other engineers in a theoretical and conceptual sense, to be able to try to develop products and processes in a conceptual way, like a floating bicycle. For example, like a floating bicycle, where it's possible to be able to spin pedals and use pneumatic operations to be able to try to propel and actually float, make a bicycle float, necessarily by using certain aspects of developing pockets of air, and floating, conceptual, combining car as well as like car and F1 racing, as well as like flight planes, and also hovercrafts and skateboards and hydroplanes, and different elements from each of these operations and such things can be coordinated and coalesced and coincided through the use of using these AIs in developing engineering processes, engineering terms, engineering words, and crossing over and coalescing and cross-hatching differing items to be able to develop new, hopefully new products, new formats, to be able to then transition those into like 3D printed prototypes, in essence, to be able to scale those up, to be able to try different products, different processes in different little vehicles on a consistent basis, if possible, in an ideal sense. But that is not even the burger. That's not the burger necessarily for this specific business, for Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios. It's a lot of the other things that I've been talking about in the past in the podcast, and all these other things have been not part of the necessarily the routine, conceptual, consistent focus, in terms of the consistent talk, in terms of what we're trying to focus on in terms of this podcast, and choke starting the main aspect of business flow in terms of Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, because it's hard to focus on too many things at once. And so that's why, therefore, again, I'm talking about the burger is step one to try to continue to start the engine for the burger, and try to get a flow for that, in essence, which is also named Beyonce or Yonsei and Spurlock or Spurlow and Mr. Beast. Basically, it's a combination of all those things because it's actually Mr. Beast philanthropy, Mr. Beast philanthropy, Mr. Beast philanthropy. So it's a combination of all those things in essence to be able to continue to develop the main burger. That's the main burger for this business, for Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, for the actual like revenue flow, chasing achievement situation, as opposed to just a podcast sputtering random bollocks on an ongoing basis type of situation, but be able to transition that into a revenue flowing process and business. But then the plates are on the side. That's basically what this podcast is all about: is plates, and constantly keeping the plates spinning. So this podcast and the audience as well are people who are also plate spinners. They're plate spinners because I'm telling you certain things in this podcast and such things that just by anybody randomly being able to hear it and also publishing it on the podcast, it makes it a plate. It's a plate that's spinning. But we're trying to improve that process of a plate spinning process and keeping those plates spinning, but at the same time making these into franchises on a day-to-day basis, and adding human energy, external human energy to the process, and at the same time delegating. It's also equal to the transformer suit. The transformer suit is equal to the plates. The plates. Like right now, the transformer suit, which is also equal to the portfolio for Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, which has to do with the monetary energy and the philanthropic energy that is cumulative energy within this company and brand name that we're trying to add to. It basically starts with the core energy, which is which is the transformer suit, which is evolving. It's an evolving transformer suit, and that's the whole purpose of this podcast anyways, is we're trying to document and journalize evolution, which is something that's ongoing. And trying to add to that evolution, trying to be purposeful, trying to be intentional about that evolution in essence. So we also kind of want to try to start to DJ on the street, to try to practice doing that. We're using 2 phones to try to start doing DJing, to try to bring awareness to this company and brand as an awareness for outdoor marketing and such things to the brand. That's one of the ways to try to do that, is to start DJing, try to go out and start DJing. And we have a little speaker to be able to plug in 2 phones, to be able to DJ from 2 phones and try to do DJ sets on the street. We're going to have to see how that goes. I've already done one of them. It's pre-recorded. It's pretty bad and shambles, but see, it spreads pretty thin with a lot of different things happening at one given time. So we're trying to spread these out and definitely leverage AI for the purpose of thisness. And so thanks for being part of the process and listening, even though nobody's necessarily needing to necessarily listen, but using things like NoteGPT.io is able to decode like these podcasts. So hopefully people don't actually have to listen to this bollocks, but they can just use NoteGPT.io to be able to decode this whole type of podcast and every single one of them on YouTube, to be able to then just read the summary and go down the line and try to get the wave and the flow and the vibes for what we're trying to do in this company, Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios. But we're definitely needing a follow through and quality control coach and accountability coach, which we might use Unbroken Investing. Unbroken Investing has accountability coaching, and that's something I've been telling a lot of people about, is unbrokeninvesting.com, and it would be great to be able to try to use them to facilitate an accountability coach, to be able to try to use them as quality control conceptually, to be able to keep these plates spinning, because these are all technically investments, because there's conceptual potential, there's demand at the backside of all of these circles and these plates. We're trying to keep spinning, so the more plates possible to keep spinning, and the more follow through possible, the more testing follow through possible, the better, obviously, to add to the portfolio, try to reach revenue. That's what not doing something means. Not doing something means trying to get to revenue. It means not doing something means trying to follow through. It means having the quality control to be able to try to follow through, to be able to try to touch revenue, having enough substance to be able to develop enough of the parts in place to be able to make an engine run, to be able to develop revenue from the continuous development of the gaming mindset, to be able to continue to try to flow, to be able to touch revenue on all of these plates, but at the same time focusing hardcore, focusing on the burger. The burger is really important. It's the core attempt to continue to drive revenue, but having external partners is the whole purpose of that. It's kind of like Amazon having a lot of circle CEOs and such things, because that's how they grew, apparently, from what I've understood. And also at the same time, having circle CEOs similar to plates is also similar to doing volunteerism, and circle tours, which are also pool tours. Pools are circles. Pools are circles, because there's pools of demand in every circle, and every pool of demand is trying to solve a problem that pool is revolved around. That whole pool exists because that pool is a problem. That whole pool is market demand, because that pool is trying to fix the problem that there is demand for. There's demand to fix a problem. There's demand to fix a problem. And that's the purpose of the pool, and it's also the purpose of plates. Plates are all spinning because those plates are spinning because there's potential to be able to fix that energy, or to fix that problem, or participate in that problem, or participate in having a fishing pole in every single pool in the world possible by having these plates continue to spin, by having somebody else to be able to continue to help keep them spinning, and such things, oftentimes to be able to continue to monitor them and see them through to revenue. And oftentimes those have to be people, because they have to speak the language of the same language, and they can't just be AIs to be completely get it all the way to the cross the finish line, although maybe in the future it's possible to be able to do that with AI agents. And that's totally possible, because there's a lot of things in the AI agent world that I'm not even necessarily just yet sure about, and so being able to set those loose is also a possibility, but we'll have to see one step at a time, and that's what this podcast is today, is just to be able to try to make sure to to be able to not to try to follow through, to be able to get to revenue on many of these plates. This is an emphasis on plates, but it's definitely an emphasis on the burger, which is an emphasis on the burger, not the side dishes, not the side dishes, which is the plates. Plates. We just want to keep the plates spinning, and not keep the plate spinning, not keep the plate spinning. And so therefore, like for example, we had sticky shoes like that. You can just like tape, like have them as tape, like just the sole of a shoe basically, but you can stick that to the bottom of a foot, and that's a shoe. It's as good of a shoe, so it's like you're walking around just barefoot, but you just have a sticky shoe on the bottom of your feet. So I need a plate spinner for that. I need someone to talk to about that one. So I just told you about that. So therefore, you're the plate spinners now. The audience, whoever just listened to this, anyone, doesn't matter. But I'm just saying this podcast now is the plate spinner, because this is where this energy continues to exist, and that's what it's all about, is having the quality control to be able to at least have plates spinning, continuing to spin, a place for the energy to continue to last, just like in the little side pocket folder on ChatGPT. It holds onto your little past conversations. Those are plates that continue to spin, because it's easy to continue to reference them. Although if you forget about them, if they fall off the face of the earth of your attention, then those plates kind of die and they fall off and they stop spinning. In essence, it has to be able to continue to be revolving based on a person's attention, and oftentimes your attention can only hold so many things. So that's why you need other people to leverage other people and have them be symbols, and also have a logo to represent that function and that flow of that given plate. But we are very focused on just trying to get our main course flowing, and have that main body, our main heart, and our main brain for our business, Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, spinning and moving, and somehow getting the systems in place so we can continue to try to DJ more, make more music, make more EDM stuff, and try to get more distribution of sound, music to actually promote the company, do DJing, if in an ideal sense, to be able to do DJing live, and do live music performance live, because that's one of the ways that films have a harder time to be faked or made just from AI, is when they're filmed live. So we're trying to film live DJing stuff, if possible, and also have partnering with DJ stuff with other people live. And so, yeah, like an ad agency is another affiliate aspect. That's another plate that's been spinning for a long time, but it's been broken many times, but then it's picked up and it's spun again, and that's about kind of what it's like right now. We have another affiliate partner to do like an ad agency, like partnership with and such things. But again, the burger is the focus. That's just a plate. Right now, it's just a plate. But at the same time, that's a unique plate, because because ad agencies can facilitate themselves. If you can make a white label agency and send campaigns back to itself, then it's like it's a self-propelling, perpetuating plate in of itself. So that's a unique plate. That's a very unique plate. But anyways, we'll get back to that some other day, maybe. But anyway, it would be cool to still have an ad agency as an affiliate, or be an affiliate to an ad agency. That's still something in the pipeline. And there's one particular, his name's James Bondini, I don't know, whatever his name is, isn't a potential affiliate, but I also know one of the representatives from there, and we're trying to keep that plate spinning with that person. We got to continue to focus on the burger, and not the external side dishes, side plates just yet. dish yet. So this is also a reminder, for the most part, to be able to focus on the main dish still in terms of what we're focusing on right now, because this is journalism, this is the news, and we're just trying to focus on what's new and the news and what's current, what we're trying to do today, and also tomorrow. Reminding ourselves tomorrow what needs to happen tomorrow. And yeah. So we've got a handful of things. Unbroken investing, accountability coaching would be an awesome thing to add in terms of that. And trade bots to interviews on a day-to-day basis and try to use external people's energies. Yeah. And plates add up to all people's transformer suits. Yesterday I was talking about transformer suits. Plates. Like the core is obviously the heart, but then plates is what makes up the body and the different parts of transformer suits. Transformer suits are made up from plates. That's what makes them custom. Custom plates means partnerships, conceptual custom partnerships from different items of value that conceptually can happen from different people and different connections and different collaborations around the world from just different plates, but also the energy of different people being part of a different plate makes that a unique energy in of itself. And so that makes everybody's portfolio and everybody's vehicle a little bit different in terms of their own transformer suit, to be able to continue to have transformer suits all across the world, because everybody in the world is an entrepreneur. They all have transformer suits, and everybody in the world, there's 8 billion of them all across the world, so that everybody in the world is a transformer, and all are entrepreneurs, adding to the global philanthropy energy grid to be able to add more of the best energy, which is philanthropy energy, which beats and trumps and is better than monetary energy. Monetary energy, it beats monetary energy. It is philanthropy energy. It's the best version of monetary energy, and it's the synthesized version of monetary energy, which is philanthropy energy. And that's what Dinky Tehc for Game Studios is all about, trying to synthesize the most philanthropy energy possible by using a lot of these tools that we're talking about in the podcast, and continuing to try to build this energy on top of itself, and continue to build this energy on top of itself. And I guess that's all for now. We want to also plant seeds in Central Park if possible, with like actual seeds, and actually make a garden, actually try to make a hidden garden somewhere in Central Park. If we do that, I would love to add pictures of that somehow onto this podcast, somehow, or add links onto the blog, which I've already almost forgotten about the blog, but not really, because I just talked about it. Never mind. We will try to continue to remember to do the seeds in Central Park. Try to make a weird little side garden someplace in Central Park with sick amounts of random seeds, but the planters obviously there have to be able to condition and be able to repurpose and allow for that little garden to be able to continue to exist, and they have to be seeds that are able to flow with the soil in that park. Anyways, we'll talk to you later. Anyways, have a good night or day, in essence. Anyway, thanks again. Have a good day. Bye. A good rest of the afternoon. Bye. Peace. Bye. Thanks. Bye. Dinky Tehc. Bye. Peace.